Just wait 1 minute. CDP is. So in your Microsoft team, there is a folder named Files. So you can see your course ECE 19 MAT 101, and you can see a folder Files. And inside this file, I have already uploaded your CDP as well as the uh, textbook. So textbook we are going to discuss here. You can see the screen textbook GB Thomas Calculus. GB Thomas by Thomas Calculus. Thomas Calculus is a book name, and author GB Thomas, Pearson Education 14th edition. So I have already uploaded the soft copy of the Thomas Calculus in the file folder, so you can access there. Access on Microsoft Team. And see your course overview. So course syllabus included calculus. Inside the calculus, function and their graphs, shifting, scaling and graphs. Second unit, limit and continuity, limit of the function, continuous function, discontinuous functions, monotonic functions, infinite limits, and limit at infinity. Differentiation, derivatives, differentiable function, non-differentiable function. Graphing of the function, convexity, concavity, and curve sketching. Integration, definite integral, mean value theorem for definite integral, fundamental theorem of calculus, and integration technique. So you can follow the textbook. So we will follow the textbook GB Thomas, Thomas Calculus, Pearson Education, 14th edition. And reference book. There are two reference books. Whenever required, we will follow. Otherwise, we will follow the textbook only. So you can see that this is a concept map according to your topics, whatever given above. So you can go to the CDP and you can see the concept map. Now, according to the previous semester, this is course summary. So you can go to the CDP and you can see the uh, previous result, whatever student have got. So uh, in this semester, you can see that uh, this is your single unit course, single credit course. That means one credit course. So there are two parts. We are going to discuss in detail: evaluation and grading. Evaluation and grading. So there are two components: external and internal. Internal and external. And internal and external component of your evaluation are divided into 50-50%. So 50% internal and 50% external. 50% internal and 50% external. Now we are going to classify inside the 50% internal what we will learn, we will do. So continuous assessment is a part of internal assessment. So inside the continuous assessment, there are two things: regular quizzes and assignments. So there are two regular quizzes and two assignments. So your internal would be 50%, and inside this, we will conduct two regular quizzes and two regular quizzes of 25 marks total. So either we can divide 25 marks inside two quizzes, two regular quizzes, either 12 marks for one and 13 marks for 12 second. Similarly, your assignment would be of two assignments, one of 12 marks and second one is of uh, 13 marks. According to the distribution, we will discuss later on the dividation of the marks, internal marks. So this is your internal component. Now external component, only we will conduct your end semester examination of 50 marks. So this is 50%. So inside 50 marks, online exam would be held on 20 marks and 30 marks for Viva-wise. So 50 marks for internal and 50 marks for external, total 100 marks. So according to the marks, according to the marks, 50% your internal and 50% your external. And I have already uploaded the CDP and textbook, so you can go to the Microsoft Team file and you can access there. And second thing, I have already started the recording. So after completing the class, you can go to the files and you have a folder recordings, and you can get the recording of each and every lectures. So this is the major point whatever we have discussed, and you can see the lecture plans. Lecture plans is already mentioned in the CTP. So I kindly request to all kindly go through the CTP and you can access all these things. Just wait, guys, 1 second. Okay, so any doubt up to here you can ask me, and one more information regarding your lecture. Just wait. Okay, guys, right now screen is visible to all.
Yes, sir.
Anyone?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so whenever I'll call you regarding any response, regarding any query, regarding any doubt, so you can immediately on your mic and you can immediately respond me, because this is your online class, not an offline class. So all of you to the off camera. So that's why I cannot understand whatever I deliver from here, you are accepting all the concepts or not. So that's why this is very basic thing. Whenever I'll call you, you immediately respond me. Now, second thing
Okay,
about
sir.
your topic. Second thing about your topic. So single variable calculus. So within week you have two classes. One is a theory class and one would be your discussion hour. So in the basic purpose of the discussion hour is that whatever I have already discussed in the theory class. So in the discussion hour, we will discuss the example based on the theory, whatever we have completed. The first thing of the discussion hour, And second theme of the discussion are is to that whenever you have a problem or you have a conceptual missing like that, you didn't understand the basic concept of the theoretical class. So in the discussion hour, you can discuss first, and whatever we have already discussed in the theory. So based on the theory, we will discuss the examples and the counter examples. Based on the theory, we will first we are going to recall few things whatever you have done in the 10+2 standard. Very simple thing. And based on this, we will introduce the function. So you have already aware about the what is the meaning of function and what is the mathematical representation of the function. But this is your introduction class, so this is very important to introduce according to the BTech class. So now just recall few things. So in the first unit, regarding the basic introduction about the function, few things we are going to introduce here regarding the set first. So you can see that set is nothing but the collection of objects. The collection of objects. So how to write the set? So you have idea about that. You understand how to write the set. Suppose that A is any set having the elements like A, B, C, D up to small z. So you can see that the representation of set is capital A. The representation of set is capital A. However, the representation of the element of the set is small a, small b, small c, small d, etc. up to small z. So you can write these sets by using the capital letters. However, you are writing any element of the set, you will follow the small letter. So this is the set representation. Now, you have idea about numbers. Numbers. So like first one, natural number. Integers. Quotients. Reals. And complex numbers. So these are the numbers. Like natural number, you have an idea about that. What is natural number? So one by one, I'll explain. Natural number is nothing but the set of positive numbers. So n is the set of natural number. But in your class or in your syllabus, we will follow the notation natural number of this kind. You can see. Because we have already discussed above, you can write the set with the capital letters. But whenever you can write the numbers, will follow the notation natural number is like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So this is the set of natural number. Natural number are, we can say that, positive integers. Positive integers. Now, again the symbol z. Z used for the symbol set of natural, a set of integers. So integers like that. Integers like that. 0 plus minus 1 plus minus 2 plus minus 3 plus minus 4, etc. So this is the notation for the set of integers. Now go to the quotients, that means rationals. Rationals number denoted by capital Q and this kind. Rational numbers. So rational numbers are like that: P by Q, where Q is not equal to 0 and P and Q from the set of integers. P and Q from the set of integers. So this is your representation for rational number. P by Q, where P and Q from the set of integers, where Q is not equal to 0. Now go to real numbers. Real numbers is denoted by of this kind. You can write first R and you can just put a second line. So this is the representation for the real number. So real number is nothing but the set of integers, rational and irrationals. Now you can write here the open interval minus infinity to plus infinity. So a small bracket represent the open interval. A small bracket represent the open interval. That means you can take the values from minus infinity to plus infinity, excluding minus infinity and plus infinity. Because in open interval, minus infinity and plus infinity are not here. Minus infinity and plus infinity are not here. Sometimes notation you can use closed interval, minus infinity and plus infinity. So this is the meaning of closed interval. That means end point are also there. End points are also there. Something like that. 1, 5. So 1, 5 is also in the interval. 1, 5 is also in the interval. However, in the open interval 1, 5, 1 and 5 are not there, and inside all these numbers, all these real numbers within the open interval. Clear? Now go to the complex number. So complex number, you can write in this form: a plus minus ib, where a and b from, where a comma b from real numbers, where iota from the is the complex number, is the imaginary part, imaginary number. So this is the representation of natural number, integers, rationals, reals and complex number. Okay. And in 10+2 standard, you have already written, you have already done. Natural number is a subset of set of integers, and set of integer is a subset of the rationals, and set of rationals is a subset of the real numbers, and real numbers is a subset of the complex number. So you have idea about subsets, sets and subset, all these things, because in 10+2 standard you have already done. Our basic motive of this introduction is that you can understand the notations, because in 10+2 you have already done. N represent the set of natural number, Z represent the set of integers, Q represent the rationals, R represent the reals, and C represent the complex number. But here you may have a confusion about that, because you are writing the another set with help of n symbol. Suppose that this set is like that: 1, 5, 7, 11, 13, like that. So if you can denote the n with notation natural number, then you can't write up this thing, because this is the particular elements from the naturals. But the notation n represents the set of natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up to etc. So this is a notation for n. You can use the notation for any symbol, any set, but specifically you can denote the symbol capital N cross. So you can easily understand this symbol represent the set of natural numbers, and the second symbol represents the set of integers, set of rationals, and set of reals. So that's why the basic meaning of that. Okay, guys. So now, according to your course delivery plan, first topic is to introduce the function. So what is function? First topic, function. So function, you can easily understand that you have a two sets. This is set capital X and this is set capital Y. This is set capital Y. So now we are going to introduce the definition of function. And some elements are inside the set A, like that, you can see. And some element inside the capital Y also. So what is function? Function represented by the small f. Small f. You have already done in 10+2, but this is your introduction topic. So my responsibility is to revise your definition and all these things from starting. From the starting. So function f from the set X to set Y is nothing but is a rule simple, is a rule. The function from the set X to the set Y is a rule that assigns a unique value in the set Y. That assigns a unique value in the set Y. So suppose that this is unique value. So now write here the definition of function. A function f from X to Y, where X and Y are sets, you can understand. From set X to a set Y is a rule that assigns a unique element, unique value, fx in Y to each x in capital X, to each x in capital X. So you can see that graphically, you can see that for each x there is a unique value in capital Y. For each x there is a unique value of. So for each element in capital X, there is a unique value in the capital Y. Then you can say that this is the function. This is the function. And how to write the function? So you have a set X and you have a set X, and you can write the elements of the set X by the small letter. By the small letter. Similarly, you have a set Y and you can write the set element by the small letter Y. So similarly, representation is that you can write Y is equal to f of X. What is the meaning of Y is equal to f of X? That means you can say that Y is a function of X. Y is a function of X. That means you can geometrically or you can graphically see that suppose this element is X and this element is Y. This element is Y. So you can plot this element to this element via f. So you can write here the element Y is a function of X. The element Y is a function of X. Clear, guys? Y is a function of X. So in that case, you can say that capital X is the domain. Capital X is the domain. And the a region corresponding to the fx. The region corresponding to the fx in the Y. Suppose all the elements are mapped to the function small f. So once again, by different graph, you can easily understand. You can see that you have a set capital X and D is a subset of capital X and D is a subset of capital D. Hello? Any doubt? Anyone? Hello, anyone? Tell me, anyone, you have any doubt, then we can again discuss, otherwise we'll proceed.
No, sir. Let's proceed, sir.
Okay, this is very basic topic, and after that we will discuss the topic based on the functions. So this is very basic topic, and today your introduction class. So you have already done all these things, whatever we will discuss today, because in 10+2 you have already done in a very detailed way, but just I'm summarizing this. So you can see that suppose D is a subset of capital X. D is a subset of capital X and D maps into Y with subset capital D dash, with subset capital D dash. So in that case, capital D is a domain. Capital D is a domain and capital D dash is a codomain. However, capital Y is the x by reach throughout the D is called range of the function. Not capital Y is the codomain, sorry. And capital D mapped with D dash, so D dash is the range of this mapping small f. And in that case, capital Y is said to be the codomain. So not we are interested here the codomain, but we are interested here the domain and range set. So you can say that the set D, capital D, of all possible inputs value is called the domain of the function, and the set of all outputs of fx as x varies throughout the D is called the range of the function. So that means the set of all outputs corresponding to the function as x varies throughout the D is called the range of the function. So we can say that the range of the function might not include every element in the set capital Y. That means whatever elements are given in the capital D, so we can't say all the elements mapped with all the elements in the capital Y. So some of the elements we can have in the set Y. Clear? And now notation is that Y is equal to fx. So in that case, x you can say independent variable, and y you can say dependent variable. Y you can say dependent variable. So suppose that simply we are going to take a function. We are going to take a function y is equal to x square. Y is equal to x square. So here you can say that x is independent variable and y is dependent variable. So what is the meaning of independent and dependent variables? So that means if you can change the value of x, you can change the value of x like that. You can change the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. Then you can observe that the value of y. So if x is equal to 1, then y is equal to 1. If x is equal to 2, then y is equal to 4. X is equal to 3, then y is equal to 9. X is equal to 4, 25, 36. So you can see that basically whenever you are going to change the value of the x, then automatically according to the definition of function, the change the value of y. Change the value of y. So that means the value of y is totally dependent on the value of x. So that's why in that case, if any relation given in the form of y is equal to fx, that means you can say x is independent variable. However, y is the dependent variable. However, y is the dependent variable. Okay, guys, next thing we are going to define here, we are going to introduce here the domain of the function and range of the function. Domain and range of the function. So before that, we are going to discuss the defined function. So what is the meaning of defined function? Whenever I'll teach you and I'll namely call the defined function. So what is the meaning of defined function? Suppose you have a function of this kind, y is equal to 1 upon x. Suppose you have a function of this kind, y is equal to 1 upon x. So here x is independent variable, however y is dependent variable. And your domain is like real number. Real number, that means minus infinity to plus infinity. So you can always try to compute the domain reals, but you can always take the domain reals, but you can check the in all the points of the real numbers function is defined. So what is the meaning of defined function? What is the meaning of defined function? That means at all the points of the real numbers, function should be finite. Function should be finite. So you can see that put x is equal to 0 in the above relation 1. And you can see that y 1 upon 0 is infinite. So in that case, you can say that this is a not defined function. This is undefined function. So whenever you are going to check the defined function, so in all the points, function should be finite. Function should be finite like that. In the same, y is equal to 1 upon x, and we tried here. You can see here that 0 is only point. 0 is only point where function is not defined. So just you can exclude the 0 point inside the real numbers. From the real numbers, you can exclude the point 0. So now how to write? You can write in this form minus infinity to 0 union 0 to plus infinity. 0 to plus infinity. So the real numbers break into two parts. Suppose that this is your real line. This is your real line capital R. This is minus infinity. This is plus infinity. And you can just exclude the point 0 here. You can just exclude the point 0 here. So you can see this is the point 0. This is point 0. So you can exclude. So you can write in the interval form minus infinity to 0 and 0 to plus infinity. And you can take, yeah, Singleton, anyone chatting through chat box. So you can exclude only minus 0. So you can write in this way, minus sign, minus singleton. So minus infinity to plus infinity minus singleton 0. That means only single point you have excluded from this interval. So again, you can check that the function 1 upon x, y is equal to 1 upon x is defined for x is equal to x from minus infinity to 0 union 0 to plus infinity. So in that case, this is the domain. In that case, you can say that this is the domain. Now again, another thing we are going to take here. Suppose function of this kind, y is equal to x square, and you can try first x from real lines, x from real. So you can see that all the points inside the real line function is finite. Either you can try minus infinity to plus infinity. So nothing point here inside the real line function is undefined. So that means in that case, whenever the function is y is equal to x square, your domain is minus infinity to plus infinity. Minus infinity to plus infinity. Now again, you can take the function, different kind of function, square root of x, square root of x, and you can try with x is equal x from the real line. Then you can see that, yeah, correct, correct. So you can on your mic and you can tell me if anyone you have answer. So you can on your mic and you can tell me. Okay. So now you can see that suppose that we are trying to define the function inside this real line, but you can see the negative points of the real line. So just you can see y is equal to minus 3, square root minus 3. Minus 3 point is the real number, but minus of this point is not defined. Minus of this point is not defined in the real line. Square root of negative sign of any number is not defined. So that means you can take here, only the positive reals. Only the positive reals. That means x from 0 to infinity. 0 to infinity. Including 0. Including 0. So whenever you are trying to include the point, so you can just mention the close interval, and where you are not considering the end point, then you can write by the open interval. Open interval, that means half small bracket. So half small bracket, that means you are not considering the end point infinity. And now again you can see that the another function y is equal to 4 minus x. 4 minus x. So you can see that whenever x you are taking from the real number and x is greater than 4. X is greater than 4. That means again you have a quantity of with negative sign. If x is greater than 4, then again you have a quantity with negative sign. So quantity under root with negative sign is not defined again. So you can restrict this. So your x, you can take x from minus infinity to 4 only. So your domain would be minus infinity to 4 only. Clear? And you can see the next function y is equal to square root of 1 minus x square. And now first you can try x from the real line, and you can choose the region where function is defined. So you can see that whenever x is greater than 1, whenever x is greater than 1, so you can see that once again you have a under square root with negative sign. So this is not defined. This is not defined. So you can take x greater than or equal to, sorry, less than or equal to 1. Less than or equal to 1. Because x is greater than 1, then quantity is again with the negative sign. So which is not defined inside the square root. So one side you have already done +1. Now left side, you can see that if you are trying to, you can take x is less than -1. X is less than -1. So square of -1 is again +1, and less than -1, that means less than 2, less than 3, less than -3, less than -4. So again, this would be the negative quantity inside the square root. So that means x lies between -1 to +1. So your interval would be -1 to +1. So finally your domain would be -1 to +1. So now summarize all the functions. Yes, tell me, anyone? Anyone? Now summarize all the functions, domain and range. Domain and range. So first function, I have already taken y is equal to x square. So domain -infinity to +infinity. Y is equal to 1 upon x. So domain -infinity to 0, union 0 to +infinity, because at a point 0 function is not defined. Y is equal to, yes, tell me.
లోపల ఉంటుంది సైడ్ తీసేస్తే లోపలే ఉంటుంది సైడ్ కి రాదు సైడ్ బ్లూ కలర్ లో ఉంటుంది
Hello, you have any doubt, you can ask me. Your mic is on.
No,
So
sir,
switch
no,
off your mic. Okay. Any doubt, then you can ask me, otherwise off your mic. So now y is equal to √x, then we have already defined the domain 0 to infinity. Because of, you can take x as any negative value, then again function is not defined from R to R. Because we have already taken, we have already discussed from a function from R to R. Keep in mind. So your domain is capital R, and your range set is also capital R. Correct? So f is a function. So in that case, y is equal to 4 minus x, and in that case we have already discussed -infinity to 4. And last function, y is equal to square root n minus 1 minus x square, and in that case -1 to 1. So this is your domain. This is your domain. So now according to the domain, you can just find out the range. So y is equal to 1 upon x, y is equal to 1 upon x, then domain and range would be the same. So -infinity to 0, comma, union 0 to +infinity. So putting the value of the domain, putting the any value of from the domain, and you can one by one you can check. You can check what would be your range set. So you can say that for the first function, whatever point you can take from the real numbers, and the function gives you the positive value only because of the square. Because of the square. So any negative value gives you the positive value. So that means you have a positive real. You have a positive real, because you can see here function is defined as the y is equal to x square. So you can take the value of x as a negative, then the function gives you the positive value. Then your domain would be the only positive reals. So positive reals, either you can write in this form, r plus, or you can write in this form 0 to plus infinity. R plus, that means R and superscript capital plus. So that means R plus, that means positive reals, or you can write in the interval form 0 to infinity. 0 to infinity plus infinity. Now you can write here. So your domain is for the third function, your domain is positive reals. That means function is not defined for the negative, any negative. So that means again the range would be the same positive real. The same positive real. Same here. R plus, or you can write here 0 infinity. Now for the last one, you can just put -1 as a value of x. So you can have the 0 is the minimum value and 1 is the maximum value. So inside 0 and 1, for all the values of x, you can get the value. You can get the value. So this is your domain and this is your range. So any doubt to anyone how to decide the domain and how to decide the range of the function, you can ask me. Otherwise, your time is almost over. So we are going to stop here. Anyone?